I was standing in my kitchen when the sheriff knocked on my door with an eviction notice for a house I'd owned for 23 years. The paper shook in my hands as I read words that made no sense: foreclosure, delinquent payments, home equity line of credit. I'd never taken out a loan, never missed a mortgage payment in my life. But there it was, telling me I had 30 days to vacate the home where I'd raised my children, buried my husband's ashes in the garden, and built every memory that mattered. The sheriff showed me loan documents. The signature wasn't mine. The lowercase was wrong. And the date was from 18 months ago, a Tuesday when I'd been at my sister's chemo appointments. I remembered that day clearly. Someone had forged my signature. Someone had stolen $150,000 against my home. My phone buzzed. A text from my son, Marcus. Just 3 words. "Mom, I'm sorry." But I didn't know yet what he was sorry for. I didn't know those 3 words were the tiny visible corner of a betrayal so massive it would destroy not just my financial life, but my ability to trust my own memories. And my name is Patricia Cole. I'd worked as a school librarian for 31 years. After my husband Daniel died 7 years ago, I'd paid off our mortgage early using his life insurance. The house was mine, free and clear. My safety net. My legacy for my 2 children, Marcus and my daughter, Simone. Marcus was 32, still finding his footing. He'd moved back in 2 years earlier after a bad breakup and financial troubles. I didn't mind. The house felt less empty with him there. He'd set up an office in the spare bedroom, said he was starting a consulting business. I was proud. When he'd asked to borrow $5,000, I'd given it to him. He paid me back. When he asked again, $7,000, I hesitated only for a moment. He paid that back too, though it took longer. I trusted him. Standing in my kitchen with that eviction notice, that trust turned to poison. I called him immediately. He said he was at a client site, 2 hours away. He'd be home by 7. The way he said it, so calm despite everything, made my skin crawl. I spent those hours pulling up bank statements, mortgage documents. The lender confirmed it. The HELOC had been opened 18 months ago. $150,000, withdrawn in 3 transfers. Payments had been made for the first year, then stopped cold 4 months ago. The payments that had been made, they'd come from my own checking account. Small amounts massed among my regular bills. I'd been paying interest on my own stolen money. When Marcus came home, he looked like he'd aged 10 years. He sat down and told me about a tech startup investment. The startup failed. The friend disappeared. The money evaporated. He'd been making payments from his consulting income, but then lost his biggest client. He started using my account, just temporarily. He cried. He begged forgiveness. Then I asked, "How did you forge my signature?" He went quiet. "Marcus, how did you fool a bank?" "I didn't forge anything, Mom. I had your power of attorney." The floor disappeared beneath me. He pulled out his phone and showed me a scanned document. My signature. A notary seal. The date was 4 years ago, 2 months after Daniel died. "You were devastated, Mom. You couldn't handle the estate paperwork. You asked me to help. You signed this so I could deal with the lawyers, the insurance companies. Don't you remember?" I stared at it. That was my signature. Those months after Daniel died were a blur of grief and medication. Had I signed this? Had I asked him to take control, then forgotten? "That was for the estate settlement," I whispered. "Not for loans against my house." My phone rang. Simone's picture flashed on screen. My daughter's voice was ice. "Mom, please tell me what Marcus just texted me isn't true." Simone flew in the next day with a lawyer friend who specialized in elder financial abuse. We spent hours going through documents. The HELOC money hadn't gone to a startup. $50,000 to sports betting. $30,000 in cash withdrawals. $20,000 to his ex-girlfriend for child support for a 3-year-old granddaughter I didn't know existed. But what broke me, $10,000 to a private investigator Marcus had hired to dig up dirt on Simone's husband, looking for leverage. This wasn't about a business opportunity gone wrong. This was about control. About a man who'd been slowly taking over my life while I called it love. Then we found the emails. In my own account, in a hidden folder, were dozens of messages between Marcus and the lender. He'd been writing as me, using my voice. He'd photographed my ID while I was sleeping. And buried in those emails was the final truth. This wasn't the first time. 3 years ago, he'd taken out a credit card in my name, stolen from Daniel's life insurance to pay it off before I noticed. Every lie had a lie beneath it that I sold the house. Not through foreclosure, but to an investor who could close fast. I got enough to pay off the helic and walk away with $40,000. Enough to rent a small apartment and start over. Marcus moved out the day I listed the property. I blocked his number. Simone wanted me to press charges. I didn't. Not because I forgave him, but because prosecution wouldn't heal what he'd broken. But I filed a report with Adult Protective Services, creating a paper trail in case he tried this with someone else. 3 months later, Vanessa reached out asking if I wanted to meet my granddaughter. Marcus was gone, another state, another scheme probably. I said yes. Her name is Riley. She has Daniel's eyes and my smile. Vanessa and I meet at the park once a week now. I live in a 2-bedroom apartment. It doesn't have a garden, but there's a balcony where I've started growing tomatoes in pots. I don't know if I'll ever stop loving Marcus, but I know I'll never trust him again. The house is gone. The money is gone, but I'm still here. And if you're listening because someone you love has taken something from you, money, trust, peace, you're not stupid for believing them. You're not weak for loving them, but you are strong enough to survive what comes next. If this story hit home, share it. Maybe we can stop one more person from signing something they'll regret.
I'm Patricia Cole.
And this is the story of how I lost my house but found my spine. Some stories end, but others begin right here. Keep growing with the telling tree. Like, subscribe, and stay with us.